Hello, my name is Henry, and welcome back to the First Principles Thinking channel. Today I will be reading a short parable I wrote that highlights several of the critical problems I see with the modern American political climate. In the description of the video is the transcript of the essay if you would like to read along. The title is, The Country with the Cavity. There was a man from a small town who lived a pleasant life. He had no family and only a few close friends. He earned an honest day's living and wanted to peacefully live out the rest of his days. One day, he awoke with a toothache. There was nothing particularly unusual about it. He had had a few throughout his life. Realizing he hadn't been to the dentist in a while, he decided to make an appointment. When the dentist examined his tooth, he noticed a small cavity which he quickly fixed. It was a relatively painless procedure, and the man's toothache went away the next day. 3 weeks later, the man developed another toothache. But he didn't want to deal with the cavity or the dentist. He figured, it'll be fine. It'll just go away. Unfortunately for him, his pain only worsened. He developed a pussy abscess and another toothache before he finally decided to go to the dentist. This time, he had to have a tooth removed as it was so decayed it could not be salvaged. The dentist confronted the man and asserted that there must be some underlying phenomenon, either in his eating or hygiene habits, causing such severe cavities. But the man wouldn't listen. He wouldn't even acknowledge what the dentist had to say. He accused the dentist of personally attacking him, insinuating that he was part of the problem. Unsurprisingly, the trend continued. And over the next few weeks, the man lost all of his teeth. He was forced to undergo an expensive, time-consuming, and painful procedure in which fake teeth were screwed into his jawbone. He continued to deflect, insisting that maybe he was using faulty toothpaste and the toothpaste companies were to blame. Maybe he was just born with bad teeth. But he figured that his problems were behind him, as at least with the new teeth, he couldn't develop any more cavities. But a few days later, he began feeling very weak and started rapidly losing weight. He went to the doctor, who became very concerned about his health, as these signs usually indicate a serious underlying condition. The doctor even suggested that maybe his recent dental and health issues were related, but the man wouldn't listen. He insisted that that was impossible, that because these two problems affected different aspects of his health, the cause couldn't possibly be linked. Then his toenails fell off, which he blamed on stubbing his toe. His hair began to fall out, which he blamed on shampoo that was too strong, and his skin turned a nasty shade of yellow, which he claimed was because he ate too many bananas. The doctor was terrified for the man's sake, as it appeared he was dying. He again insisted that the man had a critical underlying condition that immediately needed to be identified and corrected. But the man would not listen. He did not budge in his belief that these issues were all caused by different things he had either already addressed or were out of his control. He wouldn't even let the doctor examine him farther, believing it was not the doctor's job to comb through his life. As the man was leaving the doctor's office, he suffered a seizure, which caused him to fall headfirst onto the concrete parking lot. He was taken to the hospital, where he died due to a hemorrhagic stroke. His last moments were exceptionally painful, just as the weeks leading up to his death were. One of his few friends went to his house to gather up his belongings when he discovered that the house was filled with empty Coca-Cola bottles. In this instant, they realized that the man had been consuming nothing but Coca-Cola for the last 3 months. This was his obvious cause of death. Nobody's body can adapt to that diet. This is what makes his death so sad. If he had even been slightly open-minded and taken a look at his lifestyle, he would have quickly realized the underlying problem. Or if he had let someone else look for him, they could have seen it just as easily. But the man gaslit everyone who disagreed with him, isolating himself in a one-man echo chamber. Sure, it may have been tough to break his soda addiction, but nobody could fix the fundamental issue until it was identified. Instead, he devoted his and other people's time to band-aid scapegoating solutions, which in the end, for all the trouble they caused, had no effect. Thank you for sticking around and watching my video. I hope you learned something today. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I would love to discuss this topic with anyone in the comments below. Never stop thinking. Goodbye, and see you next time I show up in your feed.